All right. Welcome to Skip the Formalities, everybody. We got Brittany, we got Josh, we got Yule, we got Brianna, and then we got the host with the most, John J. So, our topic today.
And we got titties.
Special guest.
The topic today is, should people get evicted or so they still get supported by the government? Who want to take it first? Now we know that the memorandum is going to be lifted at some point in time, and we could be looking at a new wave of homeless people because evictions are going to be on the rise, and there's going to be a lot of people that's going to be out of a home. It's going to be a lot more people out on the street. What y'all thinking?
Mm-hmm.
You said it's touchy?
Yeah, because if you think about it, like, jobs even recover yet? Because a lot of people jobs was just lost, like completely lost. So what happened? Can't pay rent or they mortgage. Would they have like a special clause in like the whole no more rent for people? Or like will it be like any other special types of grants? Like federal grants from like the state for those people?
But it's still a business. Just like all businesses.
But
they're buying the necessities. Is rent and mortgage not a necessity to live? You can definitely say, yeah, you lost your job. We get it. But there are other ways out there to go ahead and get money. So are we making excuses for those that don't want to get out there and work and be on unemployment?
No, I don't think so. I think more of, okay, so say you had a $100,000 job and oh shit, god damn it. And that $100,000 job ain't no existence no more. So what you gonna do? You gonna take the pay cut, work 2 or 3 jobs and at least try and make 75? Shit, she about to get lost. My dog she's chasing a rabbit. Riley, come back. Sorry.
So, but we're not talking about people that lost $100,000 jobs. We're talking about the working class that was making anywhere between maybe 50 to 75 or a little bit less, that have lost their primary jobs, whether they was doing DoorDash or working in a nursing aid facility or just working anywhere, and currently is either out of a job, reduced in hours, or just completely laid off.
I think you got people that's, I think it's just like you said at the beginning, you're going to have people that's going to abuse the system, that's going to not do what's best for their family, because you now in 2 stimulus checks. You're in 2 stimulus checks, possibly going to be in the 3. What did you do with the money if you weren't paying your rent?
That's a good question.
You got other people too. You got to think about food, utilities. You might have a car note, insurance. You have other bills too. On top of that, if it's like a responsible individual, lights, gas, depending on where you live.
But no, I'm saying if you were getting, let's say you were getting the unemployment. So you not only were you getting unemployment, you getting an extra bump up. What was that? $300, $400 extra bump up. So not only are you're getting more than what your check is, you're getting like an extra bonus. So if you're getting an extra bonus, how are you complaining that, hey, I'm not making it? You're getting more than what you would have gotten if you were working at your job.
Okay, I get it from the standpoint, like, yeah, it was like a McDonald's workers or like a somebody at a restaurant that was a server or a bartender. Yeah, they making a little bit more than what they was before. So I guess it depends on the person and the predicament that they're in, like whether they were being a responsible individual or not, handling business and, you know, whatever.
Yeah, I think that's it, right? What you
Okay.
just said, Brianna, being responsible. That's the elephant in the room. If you got 2 checks, you know that eventually this program is going to stop. This is not a guaranteed deal. It's going to, this is not like welfare. This is a temporary stopgap. So if that's me, I'm thinking, hey, eventually they're going to stop this. Let me set some of this money aside. But as we saw, people were not setting it aside. They blown it on everything else but what they need to do.
So let's look at it like this. So yeah, we're looking at the employees, and should they be supported by government? Because we already seeing being supported by the government is allowing for inflation to get out of control.
Yep.
So
Agreed.
to further support the lower, let's say 10, 15, maybe 20% of the income, how does that mix well with middle class, upper class? We cannot worry about. They have the money, somehow, some way they got some of the money. But how does that work out? The government continues to support. Inflation continues to go up. Now, if you look at it, jobs are going towards mechanical means in order to get things done. Drones, motorized autonomous cars. Jobs are starting to get less and less due to technology. So how much is the government going to have to continue to support in order for the economy to get back to where it was? Because just like the people that are renting, they're renting from somebody. That person got to pay their mortgage.
They have programs for that though. They have other like fail-safe programs for those mortgage whoever owns the land or whoever owns the establishment. If they tenants not paying the rent, they have programs for them so they can get, hey, here's this money for, having like pandemic relief, whatever. They get that too.
But what if the tenant is tearing up the property?
That's why you have deposits. Although, I mean, it depends on the person. You got to do your research and see who living in your property, who you want to live in your property. So, I mean, it works on, the money may be good, but you got to think about it, the pros and the cons. Yeah, I be getting money, but damn, I got to put in hella repairs afterwards. I got to get new sinks, new kitchen counter, new appliances, everything just fucked up. So it just depends on, what outweighs what.
So can we agree that, is it not agree that? Can we say that, let's just throw a number out there, 50% of the people that are renting need to be evicted?
But where would they go? They're homeless shelters. They were hit by the pandemic because they couldn't have a lot of people in there. They had counts. You gonna give them some tents so they can go under the bridge?
John, I take it you're talking about the irresponsible ones, right? You ain't talking about the ones that's trying to do right.
No, I'm calling out anybody. We just saying 50% across the board. Think of it as think of it as like Thanos. 50%.
So what happens with that population? They more at risk and stuff too. So when your crime rate go up because people trying to make ends meet,
Crime rate would definitely go up.
But Brianna, how far should, not Brianna, Brittany, how far should you go in a situation like that? Because I understand, yes, we should be helping a lot of these people that's in these situations, but there's going to be graft. There's going to be abuse. I'm sure there's abuse going on right now. But and then you get to the point where when is enough enough? Okay, let's say, think about it. How long the pandemic's been going on? How do you justify 6 months down the line saying that you're not going to work? And who's supposed to pay your bills? Who's supposed to pay your bills when you don't have COVID, but you're not at work? You've been off work since COVID started.
Well, what
Who's-
about
who's- Go ahead, Brittany.
what about the individuals that have children and you know they can't afford childcare, and or you know like they are taking care of their elderly parents? So you have to think about instances like that, or people that was affected by the whole virus. It's if you look at some of the research that they have, people, like if you have COVID or had COVID, you have long-term symptoms. Like some people get more fatigue, some people have difficulty breathing after the fact. It's different things like that. Hi. You know, it just depends. Stop, Riley. You know, it depends on how it affects the person's body.
All right, let me throw a monkey wrench in well, very true. But let me throw a monkey wrench in y'all program real quick. I hear y'all saying basically, you know, what about the people that abuse it? At the end of the day, if you really dig into it, you're finding out a lot of people that were laid off in the restaurant business, customer service business, retail, all that stuff. A lot of people that were laid off because of COVID. A lot of people are not going back to work because these actual companies are not paying them the same. These actual companies, because they lost revenue, they're cutting wages. So that's why a lot of people haven't been back to work, but the media don't talk about that.
Yeah, like Chipotle.
So what do we do with that?
Hiring $15 an hour now.
And that's true. That's fact. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So what about McDonald's and Wendy's and all your other
Damn,
fast
girl. Oh,
What? What'd you say, John?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. They were already fighting for wages, and they were already fighting for wages. Those places that she mentioned, and at the end of the day, you know, when these things are cut, there are some people, like you said, you abusing the program. But I am telling you, I know a lot of people that want to go back to work, and they was like, well, because we lost a lot of money because of the pandemic, if you want to come back to work, you're going to have to take a pay cut. And a lot of people was like, man, fuck that.
Josh,
we're just
Josh,
telling us unemployment until something else come up.
Josh, are we talking about major corporations, or are we talking about just the stuff like we talking about, like Chipotle and fast food type stuff?
No, everybody's been doing that. A lot of everybody, major corporations, smaller corporations, everybody's been getting hit like that. Everybody has. Now, the people that have gone back to work, because I've noticed, I don't know if y'all have noticed this, a lot of women have gone back to work. And people will say, well, why have a lot of women go back and why ain't the men? Well, because a lot of men support women in marriage and so on and so forth. A lot of families support women. You know what I'm saying? That's why you see a lot of these places. Go to some restaurants. You'll see nothing but women working. You won't see men. And because the men are like, man, fuck that. We'll just stay at home. But a lot of women are supported they have a support system. Most men don't have a support system. So they not going to take that pay cut. They just going to chill. They just going to chill until something better come along. Until this shit actually runs out altogether. Which is stupid, but that's their thought process.
Yeah, that's stupid as hell.
So basically, but companies have did that practice for years, but they did it in a different way. You know, they would force the older group out and then bring a younger group in at a lower rate, or a little higher than what somebody started at 5 years ago. That's nothing new. They're using the pandemic as a reason for cutting losses. But is it really not just another ploy just so they can keep the executives with their pockets aligned? I mean, think about when we went back, think about going all the way back to the recession that we were in back in 08, 09. Did they not go to a bailout, but then arrived on private jets?
Mm-hmm.
So I'm sorry, I refuse to believe that.
Very true. Very true.
Because when they said the rich got richer, I just can't see how certain corporations lost money, because money was in the streets money got spent. Who lost money? The only people that was really losing was the people getting laid off and fired. So they were cutting people and firing everybody. They weren't cutting losses because they were losing money. They was more so cutting losses so they can keep lining their pockets.
Yeah, that's it.
Is what I'm seeing.
That's exactly what happened.
If you want to tell me $1 billion company has all their money tied up, and we can't hire you back at this amount, but I'm pretty sure you'll turn around, hire your son, your nephew, your friend's son, nephew, cousin, brother at $100,000 rate, $200,000 rate, $500,000 rate, and now he's sitting on the executive board. They still get boards.
Yep.
Ain't nobody cut no money from the top. I ain't heard no CEO saying I'm taking a 10% cut, but we doing a 50% layoff.
Add even more to that. What about when remember everybody that switched their corporation over to make those masks got a buyout? Think about all the corporations that switched over their operations to make those masks to get that 500 million check, and then at the end of the day still laid off people.
Or think about the company.
I know
Very
Ford.
true. Very, very true.
Ford had cut some of their salary people, like I think their president, they opted not to receive their bonus. Like some people, like I guess depending on that, they didn't receive their bonus, and they had still kept people just so they did that just so they could keep people. They wouldn't lay off anybody. So some companies did do that though.
But here's the thing. What's a bonus versus 10-20% cut? I'm still getting my 250,000. I'm just not gonna get my $100,000 bonus.
They still get their base pay, but they don't get their bonus.
And to be honest, who's to say that that's not true? These, they got two sets of books: the books they present to the world and the books that's real. So who's to say they don't get it on the back end?
Just like there were some of these companies, that was getting the grant from the government and wasn't hiring back no employees.
Yep, I know two companies.
Or they did have the minimum people on payroll just so they can keep lining their pockets. So I'm not trying to hear about what these companies coulda, shoulda, woulda did, none of that stuff. Because it's always, when it comes down to the bottom line, the top brass is going to keep their pockets lined. Period.
I do agree. But what I'm saying is, I want y'all to have a little bit more compassion for the people that we're calling taking advantage of the system. Are they really? Or has the system taken advantage of them?
Yes, it works.
Compassion, Paul?
Huh?
For the people that we say taking advantage of the system.
When we talk about compassion, let's talk about compassion. Since we bring up compassion, let's talk about compassion.
Okay, come on.
Let's talk about it.
Who we have a compassion for? You want to have compassion for the individuals. Let's look at it like this. I'm not even gonna try to be funny about it. We just talking here.
Okay, what's wrong?
Everybody has a decision in life, right?
Yes, you do.
Very true.
Okay. Did you choose your career field, or did your career field choose you?
I chose.
Okay. If you're in a career field that at some point in 10 years is no longer going to be in existence, would you not be able to see that through the change of times if you're paying attention?
Yes.
Did you not see that the automotive industry from the 1960s, when they had the Industrial Revolution, was going to go from making all cars by hand to having autonomous arms do part of the car? Could you see that coming?
In 1960? Maybe not. By the 70s, you did.
Mhm.
But as time went on, you started to see it, right?
Right, right.
So did you not see the writing on the wall for your job starting to disappear? Think about it. Let's look at it like this. How long do you think Amazon is going to allow people to work there before it becomes completely autonomous?
Yeah, that's a good. Yeah, that's.
If you
yeah.
see their warehouse, they have machines carrying at least a ton to 2 tons of material from one side of the warehouse to the other. The only thing humans are doing is cleaning up and packing.
Who's gonna deliver the packages?
They
I know
already
they talking about
spent-
doing drones. I know he said they was gonna use drones and stuff, but
and Domino's is already experimenting with delivering drones in a whole nother state right now. They're also experimenting with a delivery truck. We got Google and Waymo. They talking about autonomous driver taxis that they got over, I believe, somewhere in Texas. That I just seen that they had that going on for a year now. And one dude said he had taken over 100 and something drives with this taxi, no driver, and never had a problem. So when we look at career fields and having compassion, yeah, we can say, yeah, well, some people wasn't able to, do this or do that. They wasn't able to go forward in life, and they weren't able to do this and make a change, or however the case is. You can say all of that. But again, did you choose your career or did your career choose you? Because at the bottom line, it comes down to choices. Now, I can easily lose my job. But does that mean I'm going to sit back and let the government take care of me? Or am I go out there and go and get it?
Good point.
When we really talking about compassion.
Now, I do agree, Josh. I do agree. You got. I don't know about the numbers about which side is which, but it's obvious there's going to be people that's going to be abusing it, and then there's going to be people that's going to be legitimate. Here's the question. I agree with you, John. At the end of the day, some of these people have to be held accountable. I mean, if you just like you said, you know your deal is about to stop, or your deal is about to change, and you made no adjustments. Whose responsibility is that? That's yours. Now, there are people, just like Josh said, who are in situations where the corporation did not care, where the corporation was just flat out bending them over and taking advantage of them. The question is, how do you distinguish between the good and the bad?
That's a good question.
That's difficult because if you're trying to distinguish between the good and the bad, it's almost like you're trying to go by a case-by-case basis.
Yeah, that's exactly what you.
And if you're going on a case-by-case basis, it's almost like social work. You really have to have every case a little more with a delicate touch. I can't say
that's not how that's going to play out.
It's not.
It's going to be a big, broad ass instrument. Anybody that get caught or even suspected, you kind of gonna catch it. So technically, really, is there a way to do that right?
Is there a way to do it? Is there a way to support those that are in need without creating undue hardship on those that are working? Because remember, all that money that's coming out is either coming from the government or it's coming from taxpayers.
Well, it's mostly taxpayers.
And if there's going to be inflation, who are we to blame? Are we to blame corporations? Are we to blame the pandemic? Or we are to try to have compassion for those that are less fortunate or that have become the less fortunate? Because at the end of the day, the working class is going to get past the buck all day long. The working class is going to get past the buck all day long. So if inflation is happening and the government say, you know what, let's increase taxes. It's enough money out there. We put enough money out there. Let's get some of that back through taxes.
Yeah.
what do you do at that point? Who you can't point the finger because you're still working. You're still working. While they sitting on the government talking about some, well, you know, I ain't gonna go back to work because I make more money here than anywhere else. But what are you doing with your time?
No.
We go back to my question. Do you choose your career or do your career choose you?
That's a tough one, man. That is a tough one. Because what you're saying is, can people see what I'm hearing from you is, can you see what's coming? Do you know the future? Sometimes you do, sometimes you don't.
True. I agree.
But they've got to figure out a way to penalize those that are really taking advantage of the system and taking care of those that have been completely cheated. And unfortunately, that takes a lot of legislation and a lot of years. And if you black, you can fucking forget it.
Yeah. I don't see that realistically happening.
What they probably do with us is just exactly, especially not, they'll do it for Asians and white people and Mexicans, but if you black, nah, they just gonna put everybody in one big fucking bowl and fuck all y'all.
Yeah.
And I will say, because we're winding down on time. I will say that the system has not been designed, is not built for the Black community.
No.
We are, when it comes to ownership, when it comes to wealth, we are always at the bottom or close to the bottom of the totem pole.
Yeah.
This institution that America has built, it's been obvious that it's not built for us.
Hey, John, hold on a second. Hold on. I want to see if y'all can see something. Hold on. Hey, Yule, do you see this woman right here?
Yeah.
She got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. But look at that. She fine as hell. Fine is all outdoors. I said hi to her in the mall. She rolled her eyes at me, bro. Seriously. That's what your boy be talking about. She should have jumped over tables to get to me. Rolled her eyes at me.
We got less than 1 minute, and this is what we doing.
Hey.
Oh, I'm sorry, John.